The Last Watchman. Chapter 1, The New Job. The Washington Museum of History stood like a mausoleum on the edge of the city. Gothic arches, towering gargoyles, and stained glass windows that never quite caught the sunlight. By day, it was a peaceful vault of ancient relics. But by night, it was something else entirely. David Lorne didn't believe in ghosts. 38, divorced, and bored of mall security jobs, he thought guarding a museum would be easy money. The quiet halls, the rich history, and the prestige of wearing a badge inside a place that held pieces of the world's past, it was too good to pass up. Just keep your eyes open, don't touch anything, and never under any circumstance go into the archives, warned Officer Jenkins, the guard David was replacing. Why? David asked, half smiling. Jenkins didn't smile back. Just don't. If the red light above the archives flickers, call the curator. That's it? Strange, David thought. But he nodded. His first night was uneventful. The cameras were old but functional, and his rounds were short. He admired an Egyptian sarcophagus, a medieval torture device, and a wax figure exhibit of infamous serial killers that gave him the creeps. Yet, nothing moved. No weird sounds. Just silence. Then came night 2. At 2:17 a.m., the red light above the archives flickered. Chapter 2, The Flicker. David's radio hissed. Static. He tapped it, then looked at the surveillance monitors. Camera 13 positioned outside the archives was black. Curiosity got the better of him. Instead of calling the curator, he decided to check it himself. The door to the archives was cold to the touch. The brass handle rattled as he turned it. Inside, darkness. His flashlight beam sliced through the stale air. Rows of cabinets stretched endlessly in every direction. He took a step in and then another. The door slammed shut behind him. David spun around, heart racing. Hello. Silence. Then a whisper, "You shouldn't be here." He turned. Nothing. His flashlight flickered. The batteries were fresh. Something was wrong. Drawers began to open on their own. One by one. Scrolls unfurled. Ancient maps floated to the ground. A wind blew from nowhere, carrying the faint sound of chanting in Latin. David stumbled back toward the door, but it wouldn't budge. That's when he saw it. At the end of the aisle stood a tall, emaciated figure cloaked in black, with glowing red eyes and long fingers that scraped the floor as it walked. He screamed. The door burst open. Light flooded in. The figure vanished. It was 2:19 a.m. Chapter 3, Warning Signs. The curator, Dr. Eliza Gray, was waiting in the security room when David returned, pale and shaking. "You went into the archives," she said flatly. David nodded. There was a noise, a red light, a thing. Dr. Gray sighed. "You're not the first." She opened a drawer and handed him an old security log. Dozens of guards had come and gone over the years. Some quit. Some were institutionalized. 2 had vanished entirely. "What's in there?" he asked. "Artifacts that should never have been unearthed," she said. "We acquired a black stone tablet from an unmarked dig site in Iraq. Since then, things changed. You should close it down." "We can't. The Smithsonian funds us, and they want it studied." David took a leave of absence the next night. He didn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the figure in the archives. But bills don't pay themselves. He went back. And that's when things escalated. On his 4th night, he found blood on the floor of the Civil War exhibit. Thick smears led to a wax figure, a Confederate general with eyes that now followed him. The next night, a camera caught the same figure walking across the hall. Chapter 4, Hauntings. David began documenting everything. Night by night, the supernatural presence grew stronger. Artifacts moved. Murals bled. Statues wept tears of black tar. One night, while monitoring the Ancient Americas exhibit, he saw a Mayan priest statue twitch. Then it turned its head slowly to look into the camera. The next night, the camera was shattered. He stopped reporting the events. Dr. Gray offered no help. Other staff avoided him. He was alone. He decided to bring in a priest. Father Monroe came quietly at midnight and began walking the museum, sprinkling holy water and whispering prayers. When they reached the archives, Monroe stopped. "I feel evil here. This is no haunting. This is a gate." David's stomach dropped. "To where?" The priest said nothing. Just handed him a rosary and left. That night, the red light above the archives didn't flicker, it glowed bright crimson. The door pulsed like a heartbeat. David resisted the urge to go inside. But something came out. Chapter 5, The Possession. It started with shadows longer than they should be, moving against the direction of light. Then whispers. All night long. David slept in short bursts. He began seeing things during the day. He'd swear the gargoyles outside shifted when no one looked. The museum became a prison. Dr. Gray's assistant, Rachel, disappeared. Her bloodied lab coat was found inside the archives, yet the security logs showed no one entered. That night, David saw her. Or at least, something wearing her face. "David," she whispered from behind the African mask exhibit. "Help me." When he approached, her mouth opened unnaturally wide and let out a scream that shook the glass around her. He ran. The museum lights dimmed, and power flickered. All cameras went dark except for one, the archives feed, now suddenly live again. In it stood the same cloaked figure, but now holding the black tablet Dr. Gray had mentioned. Words began to appear on David's monitor, as if typed by invisible hands. "You opened the door. Now you must enter." Chapter 6, The Descent. Unable to fight it, David entered the archives one last time. He followed a path of floating pages, illuminated by a pale blue glow. At the center of the room, where the tablet was kept under reinforced glass, the case lay shattered. The tablet pulsed. As David approached, it whispered in a language he didn't know, but understood perfectly. It offered him knowledge, power, release. He touched it. The world vanished. He awoke in a twisted version of the museum, like a mirror cracked in 1,000 places. Artifacts floated in mid-air. The halls were endless and crooked. Screams echoed from the walls. Rachel appeared again, this time crying blood. "It feeds on time," she said. "Every minute you're here, it eats the world." David wandered for what felt like days. The figure followed him always, never rushing, never speaking. He began to lose his grip on reality. Then he found the exit, a door with a sign that read, "Return if you dare." He stepped through. Chapter 7, Aftermath. David awoke in the real museum, lying on the archives floor. It was daylight. But the world was different. The exhibits were covered in sheets. The walls cracked. The curator's office empty. The date on his phone read, October 12, 2029. He'd been gone 4 years. When he left the building, the city was still, quiet. Streets overgrown. News reports spoke of a mass exodus from Washington due to psychogenic contagion. Everyone who had entered the museum in the past 4 years had either died or gone mad. David was listed as legally dead. He didn't speak for weeks. Eventually, the government found him. He was interrogated by federal agents in dark suits. He told them everything. They burned the museum to the ground. But the tablet was never recovered. The tablet. 3 months later, in a small museum in rural Oregon, a crate arrived with no return address. Inside it, a black stone tablet, glowing faintly. The new night guard opened the box, curious. At 2:17 a.m., the red light above the archives flickered.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. The Plot Twist Tales.